students, once again we have finished with your first session, and whatever I explained in your first session I hope you understand. And today we are going to start with your second session of your biology again. You are done with your alimentary canal. The next one you have is your digestive glands. So this digestive glands, you have your salivary glands, you have your liver, and then you have your pancreas. Okay, so this salivary glands, they have three pairs of salivary glands. They are your parotid glands, which are found beneath each ear. You have your submandibular glands that is present on the floor of the mouth, and you have your sublingual glands that lies under the tongue. Okay, so salivary glands, remember, they secrete salivas, and these salivas, they contain ptyalin enzyme, as I have told you before. So these enzymes, they mainly take part in the chemical digestion of carbohydrates. So the carbohydrates that is present in the food, the starch portion, we can also say the starch portion of the food will get converted into maltose. Maltose, that is, they'll be converted into a sugar substance. So this saliva not only converts the food into maltose, they also moisten the food. That means they make the food soft and easy to swallow. When you look at the diagram here, you will find that here you have your parotid gland, then you have here your sublingual gland, and then you have your submandibular gland. If you want, you can refer to your book page number 57, figure 4.3, where you can find the salivary glands in the human beings. Next, I'll move on. That is your liver. Okay, the liver is the largest gland that is present inside your body. So it lies on the right side below your chest region. They are reddish brown in color and they are rubbery to touch. Okay, and your liver is being protected by your rib cage. So this liver also secretes glands. Remember that liver, they are also under your digestive glands. They secrete a glands that is known as your bile. This bile, they are greenish yellow colored fluid which will get stored in your gallbladder. So after your liver secretes the bile, they will move and get stored in your gallbladder. Okay, and then this bile, they will get transferred from your gallbladder, then they will get transferred into your small intestine, and then it will reach your duodenum, the first part of your small intestine. So the bile doesn't only help, they are not only an enzyme, okay, they also help in the breakdown of fats. So the food that you have which contains the fats and oil, they will be broken down into tiny types of droplets, so that it can ease your digestion. Okay, so this breakdown of fats into a tiny droplets, they are also known as your emulsification of fats. So this bile also contains sodium bicarbonate that helps to neutralize. They neutralize the acid that is formed in your stomach. So whatever acid that is formed in your stomach, they will help them to neutralize them. How? Because this bile, they contain sodium bicarbonate. Next one you have is your pancreas. Okay, so this pancreas, they are associated with your small intestine. They are white in color and they lie behind your stomach. So this pancreas, they will secrete a pancreatic juice which will get poured, or which will go into your small intestine along with your bile. Okay, so your small intestine will not only receive the bile, but they will also receive pancreatic juice, which is very important for the process of digestion. So this pancreatic juice, remember, they contain three enzymes, that is your amylase, trypsin, and your lipase. And this amylase, they are the starch digesting. Okay, your amylase enzyme, they are the starch digesting. They digest the starch. And you have the second one, that is your trypsins. They're responsible for digesting protein. So remember, amylase, they help in digesting your starch. Trypsins, they help in digesting your proteins, and lipase, they help in digesting the fat. Okay, so the starch will be broken down into glucose. So your amylase will break down the starch into glucose, and then the proteins will be converted into your amino acids, and your fats will be converted into your fatty acids and glycerols. Okay, amino acids, they are nothing, they are just the building blocks of your proteins. That is the role of your salivary glands. Remember, your salivary glands contains your digestive glands contain your salivary glands, they contain your liver, they contain your pancreas, and all these three glands, they are responsible for secreting enzymes which helps in the digestion of food. Okay, now we are going to study about the next is that we are going to study about the process of digestion. So digestion means nothing, it just helps in breakdown of your complex food molecules, that is your larger food molecules, into a simple food particles, that means into a smaller food particles. So why is it necessary that the food has to be broken down into simpler molecules? It is because after the food gets converted into a simpler forms, the food can get easily absorbed in your bloodstreams, and then when the blood receives the absorbed food, they will provide energy and help in the growth and development of your body. Okay, so in order to understand the process of digestion, we have classified them into different stages. You will have 7 different stages where you can understand the process of digestion. Here, as I've written, the first stage is in the mouth. Okay, remember that in the alimentary canal I told you that the process of digestion starts from your mouth. So this mouth, what will they do is that they will help the food get chewed by the help of your teeth. Okay, and then the teeth will chew the food, and then they will convert them into a small pieces. And remember, while chewing your food, they will secrete a saliva. The saliva will be secreted with the help of your salivary glands, which will help to make your food become soft and then convert them into a semi-solid, that is your bolus. So whatever food that you eat, they will be chewed into smaller pieces with the help of your teeth, and your salivary glands will secrete a saliva which will make your food become soft, and they will turn into a semi-solid, that is your bolus. And remember, your saliva, they contains an enzyme, that is your salivary amylase, or you can call them as your ptyalin, that helps in breaking down of your starch into maltose. They will convert them into a sugar. The next step you have, the next stage is in the pharynx and your esophagus. Okay, this place no digestion will take place. It will just help in the movement of your food particles. Your pharynx and your esophagus, they will just help in the movement of your food particles into your stomach. And remember, the movement of your food in the esophagus, traveling through your esophagus, takes place through your muscle contraction, which will create a wave-like motion, that is your peristalsis. So whatever food that travels through your esophagus, they will travel down through the process of your muscle contraction, and they will move like a wave-like motion, that is known as your peristalsis. And then the next stage is your stage 3 is in your stomach. So your stomach would involve the churning of food, means the moving of food by a rhythmic contraction. They will start moving the food by a contraction of your inner walls of your stomach. Remember that inner walls of your stomach contains an involuntary muscles which will help in the contraction of your food. So while the movement of your food, the food will begin mixing with your gastric juices, and remember they are rich in hydrochloric acids, and these juices will kill the bacteria and also help in the breakdown of your proteins. Beside this hydrochloric acid, your gastric juice also contains 2 types of enzyme, that is your pepsin and your renin. Your pepsin will convert large protein molecules into a smaller protein molecules, that is known as your peptones and your proteoses. So remember that your gastric juices, they will kill the bacteria, as well as they will help in the breakdown of your proteins. So the first one, your pepsin, they will help in converting larger protein molecules into a smaller protein molecules, that is known as your peptones and your proteoses. The next one you have is your renin. This renin, they will convert your milk protein into paracasein. These milk proteins, they are known as your casein, so they will convert into a smaller into a smaller milk protein, that is known as your paracasein. The next stage you have is the food in the small intestine. Remember, after 2 or 3 hours, the food will only move into your small intestine. After directly the food will not travel into your small intestine. It will wait for around 2 or 3 hours. After 2 or 3 hours, the food will move into your small intestine. And then the stage can be subdivided into 3 steps. That is, in your duodenum, you have in your jejunum, and also you have in your ileum. So first we'll move on to your duodenum. Okay, so your duodenum contains a bile juice. That is, the beginning part of your small intestine is your duodenum. This duodenum contains bile juice that you'll get it from your gallbladder. Remember, the liver will secrete a bile juice, and then it will go to your gallbladder, and then it will go to your small intestine, that is in your duodenum. And then it will also contain pancreatic juice, okay, that you got it from your pancreas, and then they will mix with the food. And then the action of your enzymes that is produced in the small intestine, they digest the food. Because of your bile juice and because of your pancreatic juice, the food that you've been eaten, or the food that has been taken, they'll be digested in your small intestine. Then remember, your bile has been secreted from your liver, and then they get stored in your gallbladder, and then it will help in the breakdown of your fats into fat droplets. And then another one, pancreas, the pancreatic juice, okay, it's been secreted by your pancreas. And then this pancreatic juice has 2 types, that is your trypsin and your lipase. Your trypsins, they will act on your proteins, peptones and proteases, and they will convert them into polypeptides. And then your lipase, they will act on the fats, and they will convert them into fatty acids and glycerol. The next stage, you have the another one. After your duodenum, it will go into your jejunum. So this jejunum, the food will just pass into your second part of your small intestine, that is your jejunum, and then the food will transfer from the jejunum to the final part of your small intestine known as your ileum. So in your ileum, okay, there are enzymes such as your epipsin, maltase and sucrase. So these enzymes, they have different roles. First, your epipsins, they will act upon your peptones and peptides and then convert them into amino acids. And then you have your maltase, they will break down the sugar maltose into glucose, they will convert them into a glucose. And then you have sucrose, they will act on sucrose and change your glucose, okay, then into a fructose molecules. They will change to glucose and fructose molecules, this sucrase. Then comes your next stage, that is your 5th stage, that is the absorption of your digested food in the small intestine. So remember that in your small intestine, you have a small finger-like projection known as your villi that helps to increase the surface area of your absorption. So they will help the digested food to move in your back and forth motion. After moving through your back and forth motion, your villi contains a network of blood capillaries, okay. So these blood capillaries, okay, the digested food will get diffused into your blood capillaries and then enters your bloodstream, which will distribute to the other parts of your body to function to give energy and also to help for the growth and development of your body. That is how the digested food takes place inside your body. Next one, the stage 6 you have is your large intestine. Remember, your large intestines are not responsible for utilizing or taking the absorbed food. They will be responsible for taking the undigested food, okay. All the undigested food which is not been absorbed by your blood cells, okay, they will be taken by your large intestine. They will move into your large intestines and they will come out in the form of your waste materials, okay, that they will come in the form of your feces that will travel through your rectum, and then it will eliminate it from your body through your anus. I have shown you in the human digestive system here that your food will travel from your mouth and then to your esophagus, to your stomach, and then to your small intestine, and it will distribute to other parts of your body for the process for giving out energy and also for the process of growth and development. And the undigested food will travel to your large intestine, okay. So they will come out from your rectum and then finally to your anus. They'll come out in the form of your feces. This process is known as your digestion. The, the final stage, that is your stage 7, you have your assimilation. So remember, all the food that is absorbed, I have told you that they are not being required by your body at once. So this absorbed food, okay, they will be stored for your future use, and when the body needs it, they will deliver it to them. Okay, so all the food, they will be not completely used by your body, they will be stored for your future use, and this process is known as your assimilation. So the food that will come in the form of your glucose, so the glucose will be oxidized to give out energy. Okay, and the excess glucose is stored in the liver as your glycogen. Okay, and then when it gets converted into glycogen in the liver, they can also reconvert them into glucose whenever your body needs them. Similarly, you have your amino acids. I told you that they are the building blocks of your proteins, so they will circulate in the body and help in building your proteins. So remember that excess of amino acids, they cannot be stored in the body, so they have to be converted into urea and are removed by your kidneys in the form of your urine. So when you have too much of amino acids inside your body will not able to store them, so they are removed from your kidney that comes out in the form of your urine. And further, even your fatty acids, okay, they are be converted into your fats, okay, and then they are stored under your skin. So when you have too much of excess of fats that is being stored, they will come out in the form of your sweat.